Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the Jerome Strickland channel. Yes, I want to welcome everybody back. Hope y'all can hear me well. I got my camera position setting at a little bit different setting. It's a little bit farther away from my face. Hope y'all can hear me pretty good. Sometimes the audio is not at its best. A lot of outside noise and a lot of noise around me, you know, sometimes can affect the audio. And you know, if the audio's not the best or the picture's not the best, you know, charge it to my head, not my heart. You know, I want to put y'all some good some good content out there. But I mainly want to put some good information out there. That's what I really want to get. But I'm gonna let y'all look at this beautiful scenery. Look at this. Yes, a mixture of trees, rocks, and water. Beautiful nature. Yes. Air is so fresh out here. Even though I'm on the outskirts of town, it seems like the further you get out of town, the fresher the air gets. I mean, I sniff a little bit, but I feel great. I feel so great. Excuse me. Woo! Being out here in nature. Yes, I love being out here in nature. We're out here in the water, or with the water, with the beautiful trees. Yes, I want to welcome everybody back to the Jerome Strickland channel. Hope all is well with everybody. All is well here. We're back with another beautiful video with some esoteric wisdom and some esoteric knowledge. Look at that. So what I have decided to do, I'm just gonna follow this stream of water on down. Actually, it's a lake right over there. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the lake, but this is kind of where the stream goes to. The big lake over there. You know, it's a little average sized lake. But anyway, I want to get on into the lesson today. Hope all is well with everybody. All is well here. Anyway, yes, I want to get into the video today. This is beautiful water. Anyway, I want to talk about the subject that I want to talk about today is verses. What? Yes, I said verses. VS. The word verses. And this word is often overlooked because the word verses, when you say two boxers are going against one another, you'll say, you know, Tyson versus Holyfield. When you see two teams go against one another, you'll be like Lakers versus the Bulls. You know, versus. And so I got to thinking about this word versus. What exactly does that mean, versus? And how does it affect our day to day? And you will be surprised how important the word versus is. And some people have this idea that is people is versing somebody, or what I mean is going up against somebody. This us versus them mentality. And because we live in a culture where there's a lot of competition, we have grown up and we have been conditioned to have this us versus them mentality. It's us versus them. And it's a little strange because the truth is, it's not us versus them. It's not them versus you. It's not you versus them. You know what it is? It's you versus yourself. Now, either the concept is, or the thought is, some people think that it's them versus you. And because they think like this, their mentality is to get rid of you, take you out, bother you, harass you, talk about you, hate on you. Because they think they have this me versus you mentality. And because they have this me versus you mentality, you get a me versus them mentality. And this is a very hindering thing, because if you walk around with this me versus them mentality, or if you walk around with them versus me mentality, you will never truly reach your true potential. Yes, competition is good. Yes, competition brings the best out in you. And there's nothing wrong with healthy competition. There's nothing wrong with bragging rights. There's nothing wrong with sizing your abilities, your talents, and your gifts up with someone else's abilities, talents, and your gifts. These things, in a lot of ways, make you stronger and better. But what I mean by us versus them, from a spiritual connotation, there is no us versus them. You are on this earth, in this flat earth plane, to make yourself the best version that you can be. You are on this flat earth plane to be the best you that you can be. And as you do this, you go through life and you learn a lot of lessons. And you will come up against a lot of people. And you will be in competition with a lot of people. And a lot of people will be in competition with you. A lot of people, you and a lot of people will want to see who's the best. To see who's better than the other. But at the end of the day, when you're at home by yourself, and you're sitting on the edge of your bed wondering, it's really just you versus you. You are the only competition that you have. You are the only one that can catapult you forward. You are the only one that can push you forward. You are the only one that can stop you. You are. No one or nothing has power over your sovereignty. Let me say that again. Nothing or no one has power over your God-given sovereignty. Isn't this beautiful? Because why? Because God gave you your sovereignty. And your sovereignty, like so many other things, so many other spiritual things, it resides within your soul. Everything, your soul is a treasure box. And so many things resides in your soul. Just like the Ark of the Covenant has so many things in it that are valuable. There are so many valuable things that reside within your soul. And one of the things that reside in your soul, among many, like one, your ability to discern the truth from a lie, the ability to discern good from evil, the ability to have sovereignty. And that means to follow your own path and not allow anyone else to get you off of your own path. And one way to follow your own path is to get into the mindset, or to get out of the mindset of this me versus them and us versus me, us versus me versus them and them versus me mentality. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with healthy competition, but at the end of the day, it's really just you and your sovereignty and your connection with God, the Creator. I'm gonna step off this rock right here. That's really what it's all about, and that's really the only thing that it's about. That's really the only thing that it's about. Your connection with God, your connection with your connection with your higher self and your source self. This is really something flew in my mouth. Really, this is what it's all about. Really, this is the only thing that it's all about. Your connection with God, your sovereignty, and your sovereign journey upon this flat earth plane. Yes, this is really what it's all about. Just like this water is on a sovereign path. See, down the road there is a nice lake. And this water is on a sovereign path back to the source, or back to the lake, the sovereign lake. And when it gets to that lake, the water will stop rushing, will stop doing all of this, and it will be at rest. Surprisingly, the park is not that crowded today, which is good. It's actually a nice day, a little tad on the cool side, but it's really nice out here. And so, first of all, you got to do is get out of this me versus them, us versus me mentality. And you must focus on yourself, focus on your sovereign journey, focus on your sovereign path. And you must do this by reconnecting with God, the great I am that is within you. There's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing outside of you that can take you off your sovereign path. There might be a lot of smoke and mirrors. That's all this world really is. That's all the Matrix really is. It's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. And it's trying to take you off your sovereign path. And as you travel through your life, you realize that you are a universal being, or a being of light, or a spiritual being, living in a physical reality. And so there is a contrast there. The spirit and the reality, the spirit and the non-spirit, the physical and the spiritual reality. And what the contrast is they are not versing one another, but they are contrasting one another. When you decide to leave the matrix, look at it. See how the water comes down? See how it's rushing way up there? And it comes down right here. But when you decide to leave the matrix, when you decide to become more spiritual and reconnect with God, you will notice that there will be this contrast between the spiritual and the physical, or the matrix and the spiritual. What is the matrix? It's just like Morpheus said in the movie. It's this world that's built around you. The matrix is all around you. It is your physical reality that you see. But the true reality is the within. The true reality is who you are and your sovereign path within yourself. This is the true reality. Do not get your life twisted into thinking that this is reality. This is not reality as you would think of as reality. Reality is actually within you. And what's within you is your soul and your spirit. And God resides in your soul and your spirit. And so as you live your life, if you live this life, as you have lived many, because you are eternal and forever, you have to relearn who you are and what true reality is. You are in a constructed reality that is called, that they may call the Matrix, or you could call it the world. Yes, the Christ referred to this this reality, the Matrix, as the world. Be not of the world. Be in the world, not of the world. The world loveth its own. Yes. Every time Jesus used the word, the Christ used the word world, he was talking about the Matrix. If you read that in the Bible, he talked about the world this, the God of this world. He talked about be not of the world, be in the world, not of the world. Be in the Matrix, but don't be part of the Matrix. He's trying to tell you, detach from the Matrix. Yes. And as you detach from the Matrix, it creates what is called a contrast. And so it is not you versus them. It is not them versus you. It is the contrast that you are experiencing. And because you are not attached to the Matrix anymore, you have opened up to the Spirit. And when you open your spirit up, when you open the door to your spirit, what you would discover is your soul. And within your soul, you open the box that is your soul, and you find, guess what you will find? God. And God will come out of that box and sup with you and begin to talk to you and begin to speak with you and begin to show you things and begin to give you understanding and wisdom and begin to guide you through this world, this matrix that we call life. And you are here to experience this world, this matrix, and become your best version, your character, bring out the best in your character in this world, in this matrix that we call life. Look at it. Beautiful out here. It's a lot of water. And so as we go through this matrix, we must take our minds off of the thought that we are versing somebody. The word verse, somebody versus somebody, is just another word for speech. Hold on, I think somebody around this corner. I just got a feeling. What the world was that? Oh, he almost got stuck. But anyway, as I go down this little trail, I didn't even know there was a trail back here, but here I am. So as we say the word verses, what are we saying? It's basically their word and your word, their narrative and your narrative. Just like you don't want to bow to their narrative, they don't want to bow to your narrative. And so now we see the contrast. The contrast is the matrix and the spirit, the truth and the world, your truth. And they would like to change your truth, is because what you are seeing here is the contrast. I knew I was going to see somebody up here. I felt somebody around the corner. There's always somebody around the corner. No matter what you do, somebody around the corner. But anyway, as I walk this trail, and I walk along this stream right here, so it's verses, it's word, their word, and your word, contrasting. That is the verses. That's why you heard the word verses, us versus them, me versus them versus me. What you see is the contrast. And so what you have done is you're falling into this trap of thinking of the verses. So when they say something and you say something different, they're trying to get you to say what they're saying because they are of the world. But you are in the world and not of the world. So you don't talk like them. You don't act like them. You don't do what they do. You don't think like them. You don't see things like them. And therein lies the contrast. But what I'm here to tell you today, what I'm here to get you to understand today, is stop thinking of it as us, me versus them, and thinking of it as contrast. When you think of it as contrast, and know that you are a sovereign being, and that all what you see as verses, this me versus them versus me, is actually them contrasting, because you have the world and the universe. You have the matrix and the universe contrasting one another. Just like two same sides of a magnet cannot stick together. But if you flip the magnet around, they magnetize to one another. They are in contrast. You take two same sides of the magnet, you'll notice you cannot put them together no matter how hard you try. At the same time, that's because when you flip that magnet around, the other way, it sticks together. And you create a similarity. When you flip it around the other way, you create a contrast. So, when you find the God within, when you open your spirit up, and you open your soul up, and God comes in and is with you, the contrast of the world around you, you will begin to see the contrast. And you must realize this, that you are a sovereign being. And that this contrast, this world, this matrix, this verses, these words are just, verses are just another word for words. You see verses in a song, you see verses in a speech, you see verses in a poem, you see verses in a book. And they may go in contrast to your spirit. So if you see verses in a book, verses in a song, verses in a poem, verses in a speech, verses coming out of somebody's mouth, and it is in contrast with your spirit, then you know it is of the matrix. It is of the world. And you are in the world, but you are not of the world. So therefore, that creates the contrast. But the beauty of it all it is contrast. It has no power. Once you find God, once you realize God is within you, and you are one with God, and you are a creator and a co-creator, the contrast is different. Look at these people over there. Look at the water. It's gonna be a little quiet right here. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Pretty dogs right there. Look at those dogs. So I'm gonna try to make it up this hill right here. Whew. So when you have a contrast, when you see a contrast in the world, meaning when their verses and your verses are not different, there's no need to fight back. There's no need to try to convince them. There is no need to try to make them think like you. All you see is their position in this reality, or their verses in this reality, contrasting with your verses in this reality, or else their words contrasting your words. It's nice out here, but these mosquitoes are eating me up. But anyway, so I'm gonna head over here. Oh, this is the road right here. Had to climb that steep hill just then. So, as you live your life knowing that it's only contrast. That's all it is. When someone versus someone, when two boxers versus when someone is fighting in a ring or something, you're not really watching a fight. You're watching a contrast. And so the boxer or the samurai, I'm into really samurai, I'm really big into samurai lore. And the best samurais is the one who does not see himself versing another samurai. He see himself really focusing on himself and the flow of his sword, the flow of his katana. That's what he sees. He sees the flow. He does not see the contrast. He sees himself. He does not focus on his opponent. He sees the flow of his own sword. Now, deep down inside, he knows he has an opponent that's trying to take him out. When a boxer, when he ceases to focus on his opponent and focus on his flow, he will find himself in what they call a zone, where his opponent is not even there anymore, because he's focusing on the flow of his movements. Yes, he knows he's in a competition and things like that, but he's really focusing on his own movements. And because he is focusing on his own movements, he is focusing on the flow of his own movements. And everything that goes against that flow is what? In contrast. Focus on the flow of your own movements. Do not focus on the people that are in contrast to you. Because in all actuality, they are smoke and mirrors. They have no power over you. They have no power to control you. They want you to think, and they want you to give this impression. They want you to get this impression that they're all powerful. They have authority. There's only one authority. There's only one power, and there's only one strength, and that is God. Let me say that again. And there's only one power, there is only one strength, there's only one authority, and that is with God. And God is with you, and you are one with that God. You are one with God. You are a creator and a co-creator, heir and a joint heir with God. There is no other power except with God. There is no other authority except with God. There is no other strength except with God. And that God, and God is within you. You are a creator, a co-creator, and you are one with God. Once you realize this, everything that is in contrast, and you open yourself up, open your spirit up, open your soul up to God within you, and reconnect, everything else that goes against you can't really beat you. It can't really defeat you. It can only be in contrast to you. Do you get what I'm saying? It can only be in contrast. So there is no verses. This is why it's called verses, because it's your word against theirs. It's only your word. And the only way they can beat you is for their words to permeate your subconscious mind, and you accept it as a belief. They can't make you do anything. They can only try to penetrate your subconscious mind and make it turn into a belief. And then you are always a co-creator. You're either creating positive or negative, good or bad, or what you want or what you don't want. And once you realize this, they know this, and so they are in contrast to you. In order to bring you back into the matrix, they have to get you to talk like them. They have to get you to act like them. They have to get you to verse like them. So therefore you see the words verses. Their verses against your verses. That's what is. So this is what you hear in the contrast, us versus them. Your words, their belief, your words, your beliefs, and your outlook and your perception against their words, beliefs, contrasting their words, belief, and perception. And here's the other trick. The matrix, without your belief, without your focus, without your awareness, will crumble and die. You are feeding the matrix through your awareness, your belief, your focus, and your attention. So the matrix, in a sense, why it's trying so hard to get at you, is fighting for its own life. Because it is your focus, it is your attention, it is your awareness that is keeping the matrix going and it's keeping it alive. So where did the matrix come from? What is the matrix? The matrix is the game that you are in. And the object of the game is to realize that you are God and that God is within you. Yes. And so I don't even know where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna probably go up. I know this road up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up, find this little trail up here. And I'm gonna find this road. I'm gonna start heading back to my truck. But I did want y'all to understand this. That you are a sovereign being. If you don't understand or hear nothing else I just said, know that you are a sovereign being, and know that God is within you. You are heir and joint heir with God. And God is the only power, the only strength, and the only authority there is. Everything else, as much as it would like you not to believe it, as much as you would like you to believe it, is really just smoke and mirrors. And so once you connect with God, you will know which way to go. You will know what to do. You will know how to do things in this reality. And you are discovering, or you have discovered, the object of this game that we call the Matrix. You built this game. You made this game. You made yourself forget. And slowly but surely, you are starting to remember who you are. See, this is why you created this contrast, so you can experience the contrast. The contrast is not there to destroy you. The contrast is there for you to experience and rediscover who you are and who God is within you. That is what the contrast is for. And when you go through life, this matrix, this world, even what they call the God of this world, what it's talking about is that energy of the contrast. Yes, there's an energy behind the contrast. And every being in here, in this matrix, has a verse that is playing in their head, a song playing in their head, a narrative playing in their head, and it's playing over and over and over again. And if it plays long enough, it will begin to penetrate their subconscious mind, and it will begin to act out in their reality. The players on the stage, the props on the stage, all this right here are just the props on the stage. You know, for a while, for a little small, short time, I was a stagehand in a play. And between the scenes, I was actually the guy that opened and closed the curtain. And so between the scenes, my job was to close the curtain. And they had these stagehands. What the stagehands would do, they would change the props up on the stage because they had a different scene coming up. And so the curtain would close. They would change, like, from a living room scene to a street scene to a bedroom scene or whatever, to a house or a porch or something like that. Whatever scene that had to be played. So this reality is just the props on the stage. This matrix, this world, is just the props on the stage. And the contrast was created by you to experience the contrast and realize and remember who you are and who God is within you. And that what you're really looking at is not me versus them or us of them versus me, because they have no power. They have no strength. They just have smoke and mirrors, and they just have the contrast. And they're only there to keep reminding you of who you are and who God is within you. You are just a point of awareness. I ain't say just a point of, you are a point of awareness. I said just like I was making it, belittling it, but it's not belittling. It's the most powerful thing. You are a point of awareness. Hold on, here's a car coming. You are a point of awareness. There's the lake over there, I think. Can't see it through those trees, but I think that's the lake over there. Or something like that. Anyway, I'm gonna walk down this street because I think this is back towards the way that I came from. I don't want to hold y'all too long. It's 36 minutes. You know, I keep my videos between 40 and 50 minutes because I just don't talk long like that. I make my point and I keep it moving. So what I want to talk to you is not about versus. Me versus them. Or them versus me. A lot of cars coming. Got a little parade right there. But anyway, yes. So when you click off this video and you go about your life, try looking at the whole thing. Just try it. When I see a video, you see something like this that maybe sound a little unusual to you that you may not have heard of before, I like to just try the concept. Try the thought pattern and see how it changes your perception of the world. Knowing that it's not you versus them, it's not them versus you, that it's only contrast, and that you are a sovereign being and nothing can go against that. Because there's only one power, there's only one strength, and there's only one authority. There is no other power, there is no other strength, there is no other authority. It's all smoke and mirrors, it's all props on the stage. That's what this world is. So you detach from the matrix, you detach from the world, and realize, knowing that God is within you, and that is the only power, and that is the only strength, and that's the only authority. Even these people who claim to have authority over you, they're smoke and mirrors, because if they go against your sovereign will, well, they can't go against your sovereign will. This is why you are a sovereign being. You love yourself. Love God within you. Be kind to yourself and others. So when you encounter anybody coming against you through verses, because all they can do is use their verses, their words. That's another word for words, verses. When you're saying words, you're speaking a verse. Like I'm speaking verses here, I'm saying words. And they try to use their words to get you to think on their verse, and you create this song or this poem or this narrative within your mind, in your head, and just like a plant, it begins to take root, and it will turn into some type of fruit or vegetable or whatever it is, and then it becomes a belief within you. But it's only contrast. Know that you are the only power, that God is the only power and the only strength and the only authority. The rest is smoke and mirrors. This outer world is props. Just to prop these trees, this grass, these, you can't see them behind the tree, but these buildings, they're just props on the stage. You created this so you can experience this beauty, this challenge, these ups, these downs and these crazy turnarounds. And as you awaken, and you opening your soul and spirit to God within you, then you are not noticing some type of opposition. What you are noticing is the contrast between the world, the outer world and the inner world, the God within and the God without, or the reality without. Yes, I got my words a little off a little at that time, but you know, y'all know what I was trying to say. So, yes. So the key is, as you click off this video, leave with this knowing. Go to bed with this knowing. Wake up with this knowing. Live your life with this knowing. And see how everything changes. Your verses versus their verse. Your words versus their words. And you will realize that your words, if you are connected with God, if you are connected with God within you, if you are connected with the great I am that is within you, your words are the authority. Your words are the authority. I've seen examples of this, and it's very hard to come to terms with sometimes, because we have been conditioned and led to believe for so long that we're just this little old bitty teeny tiny me in a big world full of authority figures telling us what to do, where to go. Even in school, the bell rings, we go do this. And you have to go along with the flow of this world to some extent. But ultimately, you are sovereign. Just like this water is sovereign. Nobody's telling this water what to do. This water's doing what it wants to do. And what is it doing? It's flowing. And this is what you do with life. You just flow. You just flow forward. Yes. And know that you are sovereign, just like this water is sovereign. Yes. And you love yourself. And you be kind to yourself. You don't have to be mean and hateful. If someone likes you, fine. That's beautiful. That's great. It is what it is. If someone doesn't like you, that's fine. That is what it is. Because you have the knowing that you are a sovereign being. You have the knowing that God is within you, that you are a creator and a co-creator. And anything that goes against you has no power or authority. Any verses that speak against your verse is just smoke and mirrors. Yes. So that's my video for today. I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm sitting up on the top of this hill right here, looking down at this flowing water. It's been 43 minutes. That's a good time. So I want to leave y'all with that. So just try it. Leave this video. Try knowing that the only opposition is the contrast, and that God is within you, that you are sovereign, and that God, the God within you, the great I am within you, is the only power, the only strength, and the only authority. And know that there is no other authority except with God. There is no other strength except with God. And there is no other power except with God. This is Jerome Strickland. Thank y'all for coming to my video. I'll see y'all next week. God bless.